So it's 2018, and this year you want to grow your business through digital marketing and social media. Well, coming up, I'm going to give you an overview of all the tools available to you and give you some pointers on where to focus so you can grow your business online this year. Hey everyone, it's Jeff from TheFigCo. We're a digital marketing agency focused on helping small businesses. On our YouTube channel, we're going to give you all the tools that you need to be able to manage on your own your digital marketing and social media. If you think videos like this one can be useful, subscribe to our channel. All right, well, let's get started today. We're going to cover a ton of materials. So I'm going to put notes down in the description with links to everything that we're talking about. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave that in the comments. I can respond there, and also it'll give us ideas on what to do for future videos. So let's get into it. You're looking to do more online marketing and social media, or maybe you're just getting started. I'm going to walk you through basically all the different areas and give you some ideas on where to focus your efforts. It's one of those things where, if you're not Coca-Cola, you're probably not going to have a huge presence everywhere. And so it's important to kind of choose your battles, or kind of what are going to be the most effective channels for you. The first step of what you need to do is understand who are your customers. So a great thing to do for that is to create buyer's personas. So those are kind of semi-fictional characters that describe your largest kind of sub-segments of customers. The reason that's important is as you're doing everything else, you kind of have those people in mind so that you're speaking to them on your website, your social media, and your paid ads. And so, thinking through who are those customers, what are they like, what do they do, what type of content do they consume, where can I reach them online, is the best place to get started. So you have your buyer's personas. The next thing to focus on is your website. So you can check out a video we did not that long ago up in the corner on, if you should redo your website or not. And so with that, there were kind of 6 factors that we talked about. What those were really quick is 1, your site needs to be mobile friendly. Is your site SEO optimized? Is your site generating leads or sales for your business? You're always going to want to make changes to your website, and it's important that you can do those without needing a developer. It should really tell your story. And then the next thing are what I'd call kind of trust signals. All right, so the next really important point is, I think it was Peter Drucker who said this, is if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And so the next thing is Google Analytics. And so what Google Analytics will do for you is you can know how people are coming to your website, how much time they're spending there, what pages they're looking at. And so you can have an idea of what's happening there, which will allow you to say, hey, I'm getting a lot of traffic from this source, maybe I should put more effort there. Or, people that get to this page for some reason, aren't signing up, maybe I should change something there. And so understanding what's going on your website through Google Analytics is super important. Down in the description, I'll give a link on how to get that set up. All right, so you have your website and Google Analytics set up. The next thing is social media. So the thing is, I would encourage you to choose 1 or maybe 2 social media networks to focus on. It's one of those things is you can't do everything. Maybe you want to go and sign up for all social networks and have your username, but really to post and put a lot of effort into each one is going to be spreading yourself too thin. And so focus on 1 or 2. And so for most businesses, I would say that number 1 is going to be Facebook. It's by far the largest, has the most diverse demographics. So anyone from, a teenager to someone well into retirement, a lot of them are on Facebook, and so you can reach them there. And also the types of content is another important thing. So each network has different pros and cons. I think Facebook is pretty balanced, where you can post blog posts of your own, of third parties, you can post pictures and videos. There's a whole bunch of things that you can share through Facebook, and when we get into later on the paid ads part, also a really amazing platform. Or the next network would be Instagram. So Instagram has grown a lot over the last couple of years. I think it's great for probably people in, say, their 20s and 30s. I would say, my parents recently signed up for Instagram but have no idea how to use it and get on it very infrequently. And so I would say for kind of younger demographics, it's a great place to be for something very visual, photos and video. The other really great thing of a site like Instagram, or a platform like Instagram, is that you can grow an audience there without spending any money, and just a lot of hard work and hustling. And so what I mean by that, if you're posting there and you're using hashtags and you're tagging locations, and then it's like if you're finding your target audience and you're following them, liking their post, commenting on their posts, sending them direct messages, you're going to get a lot of them to also follow you back and start interacting with you. So Instagram is a great tool where if you want to put in the time and effort and don't maybe have the money, that you can grow an audience that'll interact with you on Instagram. Moving on from Instagram, I would say Twitter. Kind of some pros and cons with Twitter. It's probably not as popular as what it used to be. Some of the downside of Twitter is, so Facebook and Instagram, one of the good things is they get to know what type of posts you like, whose posts you like to see, and so they kind of filter that for you. So Twitter, I would say, is like kind of like a river. So you walk up to the river and whatever happens to pass by while you're online, well, that's what you're gonna see. But the thing is, if you follow hundreds or thousands of accounts, the chance that you see everything or even the most important things are pretty slim. And so what you'll see businesses do on Twitter is they'll post the same or similar content 5 or 10 times, hoping that those few minutes when you spend on Twitter, that your post, the business's post, shows up during that amount of time. So that's one of the difficulty of kind of being seen on Twitter. But again, it has a lot of the same tools of Instagram. So if you're using hashtags well, you can be found. And then also there's a lot of tools to be able to reach out and find people within your target audience. And even more so than Instagram, there's a lot of tools that use Twitter's API, which is something you can take from Twitter, where you can use third-party services, say like Crowdfire, which lets you kind of figure out, who you should be following and interacting with on Twitter. So you can find that out, then start, liking their posts and retweeting and doing things like that and really interacting with an audience on Twitter and growing there. The next social network that I want to talk about is Pinterest. So I'm by no means the Pinterest expert. I actually just started trying to be more active on it to learn about how it works, because I've seen some businesses or individuals be really successful on getting traffic from Pinterest. I think in general, social media is maybe a little female skewing, so more females than males using it, but Pinterest is a different level. So I think it's something like there's 2 times as many women as men using Pinterest. But the things I've seen be successful there are things that are aspirational. I think the nice thing with Pinterest as well is you can follow anyone, you can repin their things and comment and interact and kind of grow an audience. The things I've seen work really well there are kind of food related, interior design, fashion, DIY. Those are some of the areas that have been successful on Pinterest. If someone knows Pinterest really well, I'll put my Pinterest account here. Feel free to follow me, give me pointers, let me know how I can make it better. The next one that I want to talk about is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is much more business focused. So if you have a business that sells to other businesses, B2B, LinkedIn could be a great platform for you for sharing your blog posts, your updates. The nice thing is you can, as you start to do ads, really target on the specific role at specific types of companies that you want your content to reach. But I do think that for those types of businesses, maybe not for as much consumer-facing businesses, it might not be as useful a network, but for businesses, I think that it can be. And then the last one I want to talk about was Snapchat. So Snapchat, I think, was probably really hot a year ago. I think right now what happened is Facebook and Instagram copied a lot of the stuff that Snapchat was doing and probably even made it better. And so, it's not as popular as it was. And I think the difficult thing for businesses to use Snapchat is it's hard for people that don't know you to find you. So if they know your username, they can find you and follow you. But as kind of a discovery and finding something new, businesses have trouble, I think, growing their audience there. If you have a super young audience that already knows you and you can get them to follow you on Snapchat, maybe it's a way to stay in touch with them about updates on your business. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be, for very few businesses, that top 1 or 2 social networks to focus on. All right, so the next thing to focus on is being found. And what I mean by that is if someone's out actively looking for something in your space, are they going to find you? So the first part of that, I would say, would be organic search. So that's kind of the bottom part of Google. So there's a bunch of listings that come up organically for free that Google finds to be related to whatever the person is searching for. And so you want to focus on SEO. So the areas that are important for that are the content that's on your site. Is it relevant? Do you have a good web page? Is it mobile friendly? Does it load quickly? Also, are there a lot of links, like third-party links that are coming to your site, giving you credibility of saying, hey, these people know what they're talking about. Those are the main factors for for SEO. I'll put a video up above about SEO so you can learn a little bit more. The next thing would be local SEO, so local search. So in Google, like when the map comes up on a search, Google's saying, hey, this is something that a lot of people look for locally, or you could be on your mobile phone within Maps looking for something. And so with that, you want to take a look at what affects local SEO. Also with those, your ratings with Google are going to come into play. So the next part to take into consideration would be, are you showing up on review sites? So some different subsegments and industries have specific review sites. I would say some of the bigger ones would be Yelp, TripAdvisor, Foursquare. And so what you want to make sure is, one, have you claimed your location for all of these? Do you have profiles that are filled out? Does it have your hours, website, social media all listed? Is your profile complete so that people come there and want to visit your page? The next area for being found is YouTube. So YouTube is the second largest search engine. YouTube is bigger than Bing or Yahoo. So kind of pros and cons to YouTube. YouTube, obviously you have to create videos to show up on YouTube. So if you can get over that hurdle, there's less competition. It's much easier to write a blog post or text or something for your website than it is to create a video. So, if you can think of content related to your business that you could create a video for, you could potentially get a lot of traffic through search on YouTube. Well, that's it for the organic part of search and be found. For all the things we talked about, there are also paid options to show ads on all of those platforms. But let's transition to paid ads, and I'll cover that there. So the thing I think to think about that's really important as a business owner is, how much time or money do you have to put into this? So there's some things like, you could grow a huge audience on Instagram if you just hustled and worked at it every single day. But if you're like, hey, I don't have time, but I have money to invest, it could be much quicker to turn on ads and be seen tomorrow. And so, it's something to really balance of, hey, I have time and I can build this up. And the nice thing of building an audience on social media or having really good SEO is that you can produce content and people are going to find you every day for free. Where with ads, obviously, every time someone clicks or they show an ad to somebody, there's going to be a cost to that. So it's like, pay now, get traffic now, or build stuff up over time and get free traffic. So to get into paid ads, I would say the first one would be Google AdWords. And so the first thing you think of is the very top section of Google. So we talked about the map and organic search, but above that are paid ads. So Google's going to list a couple of relevant ads, and so you could show up there tomorrow for keywords around your business. The next thing would be also on Google in the local search. So you can show up at the top of a map as well for a local business. The next area to cover would be display ads. So you can also do that in AdWords with Google. And so that is to kind of have, most of the time they're images, but it could also be text or video that would show up around the internet. So you're reading a local newspaper online or some blog that you like, and the ads you see kind of in the different areas, those are display ads. So I think to just do that in general usually isn't the most effective, except for maybe you want to have this huge launch and be seen everywhere. But where I've seen it to be the most effective is with remarketing. So we recently did a video on remarketing that you can see up here. And so remarketing is when someone has already visited your webpage, and then you can basically track them around and show them ads other places online to remind them of you. So a lot of times someone's not ready to purchase on that first visit, but you can give them kind of gentle reminders afterwards. Similar to display advertising would be social media ads. And so the thing is, I think a lot of ads on social media are much more effective, because I think with display ads, you always know that they're ads. You learn to kind of ignore them on your favorite newspaper site. And the difference with social media is that it's kind of mixed in with all the other stuff that you're looking at. And so you end up stopping and paying attention and reading whatever that message is about before moving on to the next thing. And so with social media ads, I think the best tool with those is the targeting options that are available on all the different platforms. So one is if you check out the Facebook lookalike audiences. So Facebook can take a list of emails that you have and then find a very similar audience of people like that on Facebook. And so we've seen things like that kind of get you really targeted audience of potential customers. So social media is a great thing to think about when it comes to I know who my customer is, and I can target them through different things on social media. It might be Facebook, all of the different social media networks we talked about have a paid ads platform, and you can read about, and we'll do videos about those in the future. After social media, so the next thing would be, also the review sites. So for example, Yelp has ads. So the first step is have an enhanced profile and take ads off of your page, and also have, a more robust profile. But the next thing is you could be doing ads on Yelp that are going to show up at the top of search and show up on your competitors' Yelp pages. And so someone is searching for a business like yours, or other related industries, and you can show up on search on a place like that. So the last area of paid ads that I want to talk about today was YouTube. So YouTube is phenomenal for ads. Again, there's kind of pros and cons. If you can get over the cons, it's great. So again, have to create video. The future is video. More and more content every year on the internet that's consumed is not text or pictures, but video. So if you can create great videos, YouTube has a bunch of options on how you can reach a targeted audience through video on YouTube. So that's definitely something to check out if you have the capabilities to do video. All right, so you got started with paid ads. The next step would be landing pages. So with landing pages, it's essentially a standalone mini website that's very focused on one call to action, of one action you want someone on that page to take. So you have an ad that says one thing, your landing page says exactly that and why you want to download this ebook, start a free trial, call you, whatever that action is, but there's no distractions that your homepage may have, which would be about us, a blog, all of your products and services. You want to focus on one thing with the landing page. All right, well, the next thing is email. So email is super important for any business, because the thing is, think about MySpace. Does anyone use it anymore? I think it still exists. But the thing is, if you put a ton of effort into a certain social media or something else and it's just not important anymore, how are we going to reach that audience? And so the answer is email. So, you want to be able to, in the future, reach someone for free. And so that's why it's so important to be capturing email. So someone went to your site, they weren't ready to buy yet, but you were able to get their email, kind of give them more pros of why they should purchase from you, and a couple weeks later they're a customer now. So step one with email is having a professional email. So it should be your name, info, hello at yourdomain.com. You don't want it to be something, your business at gmail.com. And so I did a video on this, you can check that out above. So that's step one. Step two is find an email software for marketing. So some really popular ones are Aweber and MailChimp. I'll put those down in the description. And so basically there's a few things that you can do with those. One, you might not be as familiar with, called drip campaigns. So what I mentioned before, someone might be on your site and they're not really ready to purchase yet or start your service. And if you can capture their email, what you can do is kind of have them get to know you over the next week or month through a series of emails of kind of educating them. And then at the end of them, give them an offer that they'll want to sign up for. So that's kind of drip campaigns that you might want to look at for some types of businesses. And then probably the more common one that you're used to would be kind of your newsletter type email marketing. And so with that, there's a whole bunch of things you could be emailing out to your audience. But the point is to turn someone who signed up for your email who's not a customer yet, to convert them to a first-time customer. And then with your first-time customers, convert them into repeat customers and very loyal customers. And so with email, what you can do is kind of send out periodic updates. So it might be a great video you did on YouTube, some of your blog posts, someone joined your team, you have a new location, you have new products, just keeping people up to date, and hopefully they'll be making repeat purchases from you. Well, all right, so those are the main areas of digital marketing. So what I want you to have in mind as you go through this are: one is know who your customers are instead of buyer personas. Two is have a great website. Three is have analytics for your website. Four is don't try to do everything and focus on one or two social networks. The next thing is you need to be found. So show up through SEO, have great profiles on review sites. The next thing would be paid ads. Think about kind of how your customers find out about you and how you can reach them at the right time and what are the right paid channels to do that. Once you start doing that, you want to have great landing pages that are very focused on getting visitors of the landing page to perform one specific action. You want to be getting emails from people on your website, on your landing pages. Now it's time for the question of the day. What questions do you have for us? So we covered a ton of information. There's got to be something that you'd like to learn more about, you're confused by. So in the comment section, leave that question. I can respond to you there. Also, it'll give us ideas on what we should be doing for future videos. If you haven't done so yet, I'd subscribe to our channel. If you want to watch more of our top videos right now, there's 2 along the side here. Until next time, bye.